humanity. It is not standing up for equal citizenship, that our country will treat everybody like first-class citizens, not second-class citizens for some people who are denied rights in immigration, denied rights in Social Security, denied rights in taxes, denied rights in marriage. So we have work to do. The Supreme Court case may be coming down next week, but whatever the outcome, our work has just begun. From our towns and neighborhoods, where our children still face challenges, to our state house, where we have a barrier, where we have a dam, standing against the waters of righteousness and freedom, we must fight at the state level too. At our national level, where you still have the denial of equality for our people. So it's time that we gird and grit ourselves, ready for a bigger fight. And now I stood with this great woman, who in my mind is one of our great champions for equality. And I just want to end with this and allow my other two great gentlemen to speak. But as we stood in Washington, D.C., at the Democratic National Convention, at an amazing caucus meeting, I recited a poem that my parents taught me as a child. They reminded me of the fact and the truth that when people marched for my equality, when people marched for my freedom, when people came together in New Jersey and fought housing discrimination and allowed my family to buy a home where I grew up, there were Christians and Jews, there were blacks and whites, and there were gay people and straight people fighting for my rights, marching for me, struggling for me, and bleeding for me. And so that I had an obligation as a young man to stand up also and fight for the rights of all Americans so that we can be, as our children call us to be, a nation with liberty and justice for all. And so I end with the poem I ended in Washington, D.C., standing with great Democrats that were standing for equality. And I ended with a poem that my parents read to me at night that I recited last week in Maplewood. It's a poem by a great man named Langston Hughes, who called this country with a chorus of conviction, call to our moral imagination and our consciousness, when he wrote these words, which I change a little bit for the occasion. He said, "Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, but yet must be, the land where everyone is free, the poor man, the Indian, the Negro, and the LGBT. Who made America? Whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain must make our mighty dream live again. Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to be, but I swear this oath, America will be." Let us swear the oath today together, brother and sister, standing together, strong and unified, as we did in church basements, as we did in barnyards, as we've done in storefronts. Let us stand for freedom and equality and fight with every grit, every sinew, every part of our DNA until this country lives up to its promise and everyone can stand and say, we as a nation truly and finally are free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we will be free at last. Woo!